Yes, guys, what's happening? It's your girl Mina. Welcome back to my channel. You guys already know what it is. First and foremost, big up to everyone in the chat. Big up to everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful Thursday. You guys know what it is. Be sure to hit the like button. If you've just come through, be sure to subscribe. We are not far off from 3K. The content is contenting. I'm trying to be consistent with it, of course, and I promise you lot that I would be. We got a stream today, we got a stream tomorrow, we got a stream on the weekend. We just have so much content coming. So big up to everyone in the chat. And I think the biggest news today, and I'd be doing it injustice if I didn't mention it, is obviously Paul Pogba's ban. Paul Pogba been banned for 4 years. That ain't a slap on the wrist. That is a serious sentence. He will be actually challenging that with the Court of Arbitration of Sports. I dropped a video about an hour ago just talking about the biggest what if of football, and that is Paul Pogba. So be sure to check out that video. Trying to get in my editing bag, trying to get into my content bag. You guys know what it is. Big up to Julian in the chat, says big up Mina and everyone. Listen, I can start with the most. Firstly, is my screen is it dark? Because it looks dark on my screen, but I don't know if it's because I've got my brightness very low or if the quality of my video is just dark right now. It's not that dark. It ain't too dark. I think yeah, that's all right. Sorry, I just, guys, I overthink stuff all the time. Big up to Ed in the chat, says big up Queen. Big up to everyone. Listen, Erik ten Hag is rattled with a capital R. Erik ten Hag is rattled. We're going to come to that. We're going to come to talk about Marcus Rashford's interview with the Players Tribune. I always enjoy reading pieces from the Players Tribune. Like, they do some of the best pieces when it comes to just sports in general. I enjoy it. And I know a lot of people have some comments about Marcus Rashford, whether it was the right time to actually do it. I don't know. I'm kind of with what he's saying in the interview. I'm kind of with him on some stuff. And I'm going to talk to you guys about why I'm with him on some of the things he's said, especially when he talks about, taking on the government and how he feels like that made him a target for the media. You know who controls the media? Let's be real. We know, if you're from the UK, you know who controls the media. You know what government, what party, what political party control it. Now, from a football standpoint, we're going to talk about whether it was right to do that interview. It's reported that he actually did the interview a week ago, and they've only just put it out about a week ago. He did an interview about a week ago, but they're saying that obviously they waited for the right time to put it out. Going to talk about how his performance kind of correlates to the piece that he's put out, and just all in all, whether it was a good idea. But I'm going to start with Erik ten Hag, who sounds absolutely annoyed with Fulham. Now, one thing I don't like is journalists get the opportunity to be in a room with a manager and ask questions. Why do they ask these kinds? Why? Did I really need to know what Erik ten Hag thought about the TikTok video that Fulham posted? No, because I don't care. The club shouldn't care. For me, it's banter. For me, I think it's modern day banter. Like, you see it in American sports as well. You see on social media how teams kind of troll each other. For me, it just looks like social media trolling. But I think it's more about reputation that the manager is annoyed about, and what it can actually imply about Bruno Fernandes, who already gets a lot of criticism for the way that he goes down and, for his whining and for that kind of stuff. So I understand why Erik ten Hag was annoyed by it. I'm gonna tell you word for word what he exactly said. He said, and this is in regards, I don't know if you guys have actually seen it, but this is in regards, I'm going to show you actually on my screen. Big up to United View for coming through with it. This is in regards to the TikTok post that they posted. So if you don't know and you ain't seen, it's a clip of Bruno Fernandes, and he basically goes down, tries to get the ref's attention, doesn't get the ref's attention, and then he kind of waits. United get the ball back, and they're trying to attack. They're on the edge of the box, and then he gets up and he's calling for the ball. So they put this up. Fulham posted this on their TikTok page, yeah, and this is what Erik ten Hag had to say. He said, I didn't know this. If they did it, I would say it's not right. It's absolutely not right that a club makes such statement, totally out of order and wrong. They should apologize for this. Now, I might play devil's advocate here. I don't think they put it out for a statement. I thought they put it out for banter. I genuinely, like, club bias aside, I thought it was just banter that they put it out for. I mean, I saw United fans posting it. Does it make it right? No. Eric Ten Hag, I think, does kind of have a point. I think Eric Ten Hag kind of has a point about being annoyed about it. But I don't think they put it out as a statement trying to, like, criticize, yeah, Manchester United or Bruno Fernandes. They're just putting this out for laughs. It's just for laughs. Like, maybe I'm looking at it from a different perspective from the managers, and I don't know if anyone else disagrees with what I'm saying. Please let me know. Am I being irrational? Am I being too soft in the instance where I'm saying this is just banter? It is fully just banter. He sounds like he took it personal. And then, of course, he went to talk about Bruno Fernandes. And obviously, he mentioned yesterday that Bruno Fernandes really fought to play through an injury yesterday. Manchester United beat Nottingham Forest 1-0. He said, this is on Bruno. He said, he's a very passionate player, a very creative player. He's created the most in the Premier League. Opponents are targeting him, especially after Saturday. I feel like referees should protect him. They had a chance from the start of the game. It was so obvious. He then goes on to talk about Bruno Fernandes' reputation, and he says, well, this is your impression. I thought it was definitely a foul on Saturday. It was misjudged from media, from social media, to blame him for it. That was my point. Opponents are targeting him. That is not right. Referees should protect him. I feel like Eric Ten Hag is now at the, they say there's 6 stages of grief or whatever. I think Eric Ten Hag is at the deflection stage. I think Eric Ten Hag has now reached, first it was denial, yeah? Then it was gaslighting. And now I feel like he's actually starting to deflect. Now, some things he's saying, I absolutely agree with him. The part where he said that teams are targeting him, maybe they are. I mean, yesterday, it was clear. I don't want to hear anybody saying that Felipe, I think was his name, should not have been sent off. VAR looked at him choking Bruno Fernandes, hand around his neck. I don't care how much you dislike Bruno, yeah, and how much you think he whines a lot and he doesn't help himself and all of that stuff. It is clear as day he was the victim there. It was clear as day. And maybe he's talking about that point. Maybe he's talking about that. Maybe he's talking about, Bruno Fernandes, the TikTok video that Fulham posted about Bruno Fernandes going down. But the way that I see it is that we are talking about things that should not be having this much attention. Why is a question we're playing Manchester City on Sunday. Why are you talking to the manager about a TikTok video? And maybe this is more aimed at like the style of journalism sometimes. Of course, you want to get a reaction from the manager. You want to get something for your article, of course. But the questions that could be asked in a press conference, I swear, bro, when you're in a press conference, guys, yeah, you get a split chance to get your points across, to get your questions across. You get a split chance, yeah? Why are you wasting that talking about a TikTok video? A TikTok video. Surely whatever journalist it was, could have asked him some other questions. Of course, they did go on to ask him. He was asked about the current Manchester United form. He said, our form, we are on a good run. The spirit is very good. We have done it before against City and also against Liverpool. We will prepare well. The players are looking forward to it. He said, I can smell it. He said, I can smell it. I don't know what the hell he means by that. But he said, I can smell it. I am excited. He then spoke about Casemiro and Casemiro's mentality. And he said, passion, desire, determination, that is the foundation of his mentality. Definitely as well for the game on Sunday. He went on and spoke about City, of course. And then he said, they're a good team. There are more good teams. You hear that? He said, City are a good team, but there are more good teams. They lost in the last season everything. Well, I don't know what that means. That is a challenge. Then goes on to say Liverpool also have a good team and we like challenges. He then goes on to talk about the previous game when we played against City last season. If you don't remember, we got slapped at their Etihad and then we won at Old Trafford. This year, we've already lost at Old Trafford. So then he went to talk about previous games and he said, we've done it in several ways, many ways. And to be successful from all the games, we look back, we won one time. We need a great day. It's also what we know the players will need to give their best. He then spoke about Bruno Fernandes, of course. It's like a lot of the questions were just about Bruno. He said he rates him very highly. He is, first of all, his football skills, and he's creative in the final third, creating chances, and he can score a goal, but also his outputs, his contribution for defending, reading the situation, the press, but also be the example by running and supporting the players around him. I actually can't fault him for that answer. I cannot fault him. And then he was asked if this would be a season-defining game for Man United, and he said, no, there are many more games to play in the FA Cup, and after City, there are many games we have to catch up, but more games to catch up and to get in the right position. Guys, don't shoot me, yeah? I know some of you lot might actually disagree with me, but I actually understand where he's coming from about Bruno Fernandes. I actually understand where he's coming from, Bruno Fernandes. And I feel like in what has been a horrid season, like I've had criticisms of Bruno Fernandes. I've had criticism of the way that Bruno plays, what he does. But I feel like when it comes to certain games, Bruno could probably be the least of our worries in a game and people will find any sort of way to scapegoat him. Yesterday, for example, in yesterday's game, I don't think he was the worst player. Like I've said this time and time again, I think there's moments where in a game, inevitably, Bruno will do some weird thing. Like it happens every game. Bruno could have a 9 out of 10 performance, but sometimes that one thing is that he's done something stupid in possession. And we saw that yesterday. But other than that, can you really say that it was one of his worst performances across the season? No. In a season that we've had poor games as a team, as a unit, I feel like Bruno Fernandes is unfairly targeted sometimes. I do feel like that. Yes, I sit here all the time and say that United should look to sell him because I think we could definitely find someone younger, someone maybe more depending on the way that Ineos want to play. If he's not the guy for it, if he's not the player for it, then they will look to part ways with him inevitably. But I just feel like in this press conference today, ahead of a Manchester derby, they just spent too much time talking about Bruno. Like the only thing I'll have to say is that he could have been killed yesterday. He could have been killed. I'm not even being dramatic, guys. He got choked. He got choked by a man like 5 inches taller than him. 5 inches taller than him. He had his hand around his neck. He tried to choke him. And this is what I don't understand. I feel like sometimes people's dislike for Bruno Fernandes really clouds their judgment. Like, I don't hate Bruno. I don't hate him. I don't think he's sometimes a good player because of his decision-making, his IQ. He's a very frustrating guy to watch. But when he's been done wrong, I can say he's been done wrong. And the same with Marcus Rashford and any other player that has been kind of at the forefront of criticism this season. There's sometimes with Bruno, I feel like people cannot let their judgment be overlooked for a second and just stick to the facts. Yesterday's game, Bruno was a victim. He was a victim. He was choked, hand around his neck, unfairly, went to VAR. Of course, VAR and Manchester United does not work. It does not collaborate. So they will never give anything to Manchester United if it goes to VAR. And I've seen people saying, well, he deserved it because he's soft and he's always complaining and he's this and that. Bro, he literally got choked. How can you say he deserves that? How can you say that he deserves that? I just feel like sometimes we're looking for answers, I guess, in the wrong places when it comes to criticizing Bruno Fernandes, because sometimes we need to let the emotions we need to put the emotions aside and look at it from an objective standpoint and be like, you know what? I don't like Bruno Fernandes. Sometimes he does this, sometimes he does that. But yes, he is sometimes targeted in games. Yes, he got choked yesterday. Yes, he gets fouled. Because when Erik ten Hag actually mentioned that Bruno's been playing through injury, yeah? Or let me say exactly what what the manager said. The manager said exactly that Bruno fought to play yesterday, i.e. he had a serious injury. It makes me think, Has this guy been carrying an injury all season? Has he really been carrying an injury all season? Because that would explain why he's playing the way he's playing. You look at previous seasons. Rashford was playing through injury. Martial was playing through injury. Pogba, my guy, man. That's my guy. Pogba playing through injury. Look how bad they played. Maybe that would be an explanation as to why Bruno is not playing that good this season. It could be an explanation. Maybe he's taking some sort of injections to play every game because he is Mr. Reliable. For 3-4 years, 3 years or so, we United fans have sat there and said, Bruno is Mr. Reliable. Bruno is Mr. Reliable. So now if he suddenly starts missing games when half of United's team is injured, people are going to be like, well, what the hell? What's going on? So now even Bruno's getting injured? So I'm trying to make sense of it all. And I hope some of you lot kind of understand where I'm going with this. I'm just trying to make sense of it all because now the manager's saying that, I'm not going to lie, Nottingham Forest, I didn't think was a serious enough of a game in terms of, I thought we could win it without him. I didn't think we had to play him, but the manager feels like he needs Bruno every game. He says by playing him through an injury against Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup, it's very, very clear that the manager needs him. The manager needs him. And in a season that has been ridden with injuries, Bruno don't want to be that guy that lets the team down. And this is, excuse me, guys, this is just me trying to make sense of it. So now that the manager has said Bruno really fought to play yesterday, and this is how people are treating him, it makes sense. Maybe he's been carrying an injury all season. Maybe that's why he looks so tired. Maybe that's why he looks out of breath. And don't get me wrong, don't get me wrong. You lot can't say that United don't press well with Bruno in the front line. You can't say that. You can't say that. Again, put your dislike or your disdain away for him. And let's be legit. Let's be honest here. The way that Erik ten Hag has come out to defend Bruno makes me think back to the situation with Martial. I don't know if you guys remember it. I've referenced it quite a few times, where Martial did an interview with the French media and he said, his exact words was like, oh, I played through injury for Oli and basically the media ripped me and he never came out to defend me. He never came out and said, you know, this guy's been playing through an injury. He's been taking injections for me, blah, 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 blah. So that, understanding that situation just makes me think, it just makes me think that maybe this is the case with Bruno Fernandes. Maybe it's the situation. Maybe it's the situation that's what Martial went through. Maybe it's that situation. Maybe he's playing through injury because the manager's telling him he needs him and he's taking injections. He could be doing that because we've watched Bruno across the course of 6 months? We've watched him across the course of 6 months. There's many times I've said, this guy looks like he's injured or he does not look 100%. He does not look fit. But yet he's always here and always available. The way that the manager has come out and put his neck on the line for him, calling out the media, calling out Fulham. The manager wants to be Fulham. He's telling Fulham, you lot need to apologize for putting a TikTok video. He's rattled. And why is he doing that? I genuinely think that Bruno Fernandes is playing through an injury this season for the manager because he doesn't want to be another number on that injury list. And we've sat here called him Mr. Reliable, Mr. Fit, Mr. Always Available. He would be he could feel like he's letting the team down as well as the fans, because the fans sit here praising him for always being fit. Always being fit is a red flag. I'm not gonna lie, that's a bit of a red flag. I'm not saying that it's because you don't get injured, but surely you've got a knock somewhere, especially when you're playing club level football every game and then you're doing every international duty and then you've got a couple weeks off in the summer if there's no international tournament. And if there is an international tournament, that's a completely different story. You got no breaks. So maybe with Bruno, maybe we should look at the bigger picture, guys. Maybe we should really consider to look at the bigger picture. But of course, that's why I understand why Erik ten Hag's coming out and defending him. And let's be real, guys. Erik ten Hag, maybe he picks and chooses. Maybe Erik ten Hag picks and chooses who he's going to defend, who he's not going to defend. But if he was to fall out with Bruno, yeah, if the manager fell out with Bruno Fernandes, everybody will sit there and criticize his man management. Same as when he's fell out with Sancho, he's fell out with Ronaldo, etc. People will criticize his man management. So maybe he's looking at it. Maybe he's looking at it and saying, you know what? Let me just defend my player. Let me just defend my player. Listen, of course, the biggest topic of discussion, like I said, is Marcus Rashford sitting down with the players. Listen, I want to hear everyone's thoughts on this. I want to hear everyone's opinions on this. Let me just quickly, let me see if I can switch up my screen a little bit. There you go. There you go. There you go. I want to hear everybody's thoughts about this interview that he did. Now, I don't know exactly when it was done, but it's reported that he did it a week ago. About a week ago. It's reported that he did it about a week ago. And the first thing I said, guys, the first thing I've said when I watched the interview, because I watched it and I read it. I watched it and I read it, and I've read every quote online. I said, I like his jacket. That is the first thing I like. Obviously, that's out of my pay grade, isn't it? That jacket, I know for a fact, is out of my pay grade. But I said, if I ever get money, disposable money like footballers have, I will buy myself that jacket because I really like that jacket. So that was the first thing I said. The second thing I said, this guy went and got a fresh trim. When was the last time Rashford actually? I feel like I can count on my hand the number of games that he's actually had fresh trims throughout the season. But let me not focus on the materialistic part of this. Let me not speak about the materialistic part. Let's talk about the real substance of the interview. Now, I think the interview is two things. I think it's a dig. It's a political dig at political parties that kind of control the media and can control the narrative. And I think it's obviously not a dig, but it's more so leave my family out of it and just criticize me. But the way that I see it is when people talk about his family, a lot of the time when people talk about his family, they're talking about his brother. His brother's his agent. So that's already there. That's a conflict of interest. You should have never made your brother your agent if you didn't want people to talk about your brother. Yeah, that's the first thing. Now, there's a lot of things that he said in this. There's a lot of things. He talks a lot about his childhood, which he's spoken about many times before in the past. He talks about taking 4 or 5 buses to get to training as a kid. He talks about, going hungry and the reason why he took on the government in 2020. If you're not from the UK, how do I explain this to someone that's not from the UK? If you're not from the UK and you don't understand what he did in 2020, when there was a global lockdown, the government decided that just because kids were no longer in school, they would not be entitled to free school meals. Free school meals is like in school, if your family earn below a certain salary, you're entitled to free school meals at school, meaning you don't have to bring packed lunch. You can get school lunch every day. And for a lot of kids in a country that struggles, unfortunately, with poverty, especially with child poverty, because of the pandemic, a lot of kids would have resulted in them going hungry during the lockdown. And he took on the government, the Tory government, he took them on to ensure that despite kids being out of school, they could still be entitled to free school meals. That was essentially what it is. I remember people saying, I remember seeing quotes like the only number 10. So number 10 is the office of the Prime Minister. People were saying the only number 10 I acknowledge is Marcus Rashford because he took on the government and he won. They fell to his wishes. Yeah. And the reason why he did that is from a personal standpoint, because he was once that child where he talks about his upbringing from a single mom who's working 2-3 jobs. And there was times that they would go hungry. And he says that when he's in a position of influence, he has to use that. He has to use that to try to change the world and make sure, other people don't go through the struggles he goes through. Now, in this interview in the Players Tribune, he does talk about how he feels like ever since 2020, he's basically got a hit on his back from political parties. And in the UK, if you're from the UK, you know who controls the media. Mainstream media is controlled by the reigning current political party. They literally run it. They got it on smash. But I can't lie. If you're doing interviews and you're talking about why are people, woe is me, why are people criticizing me? Oh, there's some things that he said that even I'm thinking like, bro, you better back your talk, because if you don't back your talk, people are going to come back to this and laugh. People are going to come back to this and laugh. And this is the first thing that he says. The first thing he says, I'm not trying to have a go at the media. I understand the game. You know what I mean? They're not really writing about me. It's like they're writing about this character, Marcus Rashford. He then goes on to say, it can't just be about me as a 26-year-old lad on a night out or a lad getting a parking ticket. It's got to be about how much my car costs, guessing my weekly salary, my jewelry, or even my tattoos. It's got to be about my body language and questioning my morals and speculating about my family and my football future. He's basically saying they ain't talking about me underachieving on the pitch. They're talking about everything else surrounding me and my life. And unfortunately, as footballers, I kind of understand it. As footballers, people don't look at you as a person. People look at you as a footballer. So if you are not performing, they're not going to say, why is this guy not performing? Is it stuff off the pitch? Is he being impacted by, person? No. They're going to start talking about, oh, he's too big for him. He's got too big for his boots. Word to Stormzy. They're going to be like, oh, he's got too big for his boots. Oh, he's earning a lot of money. Oh, look at the jewelry that he has, the car he drives, the houses he has. Now, let's be honest, guys. In this part, I understand where Marcus Rashford is coming from. Because if you ever see the tabloids here in the UK after a big international tournament and England comes second, England crash out in the group stages, whatever happens, England basically underachieve. Who is always on the cover of those newspapers? If you lot can tell me that. Who is always on the covers? It's always the young black man. And I don't want to make it about race. But what he's saying here is very interesting. Raheem Sterling has been ripped apart by the media for the cars he drives, the jewelry he wears. He invested, I think, in his wife or his partner. His partner's got a real estate business where they basically buy houses across the country and rent it out. He was criticized for that, for reinvesting his money into that. Only certain footballers are ever criticized by the media. And I'm not talking about fans, guys. I'm talking about the media, because this is what he's talking about. He is talking about the media. Yeah, let's try dissect each part of this interview that he did. Let's try dissect each part of the interview that he did. This particular part where he's talking about the media, he's saying it can't be about me on a night out or me getting a parking ticket. It's always about how much my car costs, how much my jewelry costs, how much my house costs. It's always about money. It's always about the money that he makes. Because sometimes I feel like society view some people as they shouldn't have money like that. And if you have money like that, not only should it be hard earned, you should prove that you're worth every single penny. Now, this is what I think he's trying to allude to in this particular piece. I think he's trying to say, you know what? We need to, because I'll be honest, when it comes to criticizing footballers, we need to criticize footballers for what they do on the pitch. He cannot come here. Marcus Rashford can't sit after this during this interview and say the criticisms about me on the pitch is unfair. He can't do that. He knows he can't do that because he knows that he has not been performing. He knows that. So instead, in this interview, he's chosen to speak about the things that the media are saying about him outside of football. Because when he's not performing, when he's not tracking back, when he's jumping out of 50-50s, no one's talking about the jewelry you're wearing. No one's talking about the car that you just drove to the stadium in. Everyone's just questioning your hunger and your desire. That's what they're questioning. Of course, the media might take it a few steps back. And he even goes on to say that he knows what people say about him, podcasts, all of that. I know for a fact he watches fan channels. I know for a fact Marcus Rashford watches fan channels. Let me find a few more quotes that he actually said as well. There's so much in it. I don't want to read the entire article. I'm obviously, I'm just picking, I'm picking at the main parts. Here is another thing that he said. Let me grab it up. But please, let me go through actually some of your comments, because I know some of you lot are probably cooking me in the chat. If normal people were not performing on their job, then they would get sacked. But this doesn't really happen in football. They get away with it, and they get paid so much for it. They get so much. People are saying this is a PR piece. I'm pretty sure the Players Tribune, I think they're owned by Rock Nation. And I'm pretty sure he works closely with Rock Nation. I can't lie, if they were only talking about his performances, I'd understand, but they get too personal, and honestly, it's weird. Don't compare him to Raheem Sterling, please. That's way worse what they did to him, and he was carrying you in. Comparing him to Raheem Sterling, I'm just talking about the treatment they get in the tabloids. If you live here in the UK, you know the kind of treatment that black footballers get in the tabloids. I'm giving Raheem Sterling an example. Raheem Sterling was dragged since the age of 17, 18, 19. So was Marcus Rashford. If you live in the UK, you cannot tell me that you have not seen the way that black footballers get criticized in the media, in the mainstream tabloid media, not for how they perform, but because of the houses that they have and the cars that they drive. Big up to everyone in the chat. Be sure to hit the like button. Rashford watches MinaFootball and gets brainwashed. Bro, what the hell did I do? What the hell did I do? What have I done for you to say that? Anyways, on to the next point. And this is the part that kind of stands out for me. I think this is the main part that stood out for me. He said, listen, I'm not perfect. When I make a mistake, I'll be the first one to put my hand up and say that I need to do better. But if you ever question my commitment to MUFC, that's when I have to speak up. And this is interesting because he went and gave a whole little background into his family life. He gave a background on his family life, guys, about playing for Manchester United and all this stuff. And there's a particular part. Here it is. This is the piece. This is the part that stood out to me the most. I hope you lot can see it. Let me just zoom in a bit more. This is the part that stood out for me. He said, it's like somebody's questioning my entire identity and everything I stand for as a man. I grew up here. I've played for the club since I was a boy. My family turned down life-changing money when I was a kid so I can wear this badge. So he's now telling us about his upbringing and all of this kind of stuff. And he's even saying, he even alluded to it, that he turned down stuff at United. He took deals from United where he was getting other deals better. I'm going to find the exact quote. I have to go to the actual article to find it. I need to, because I literally, that part just shocked me. That part really, really shocked me, where he kind of alluded to the fact that he's turned down bigger things elsewhere just to get this. But I think this is just poor timing. Read the room. Read the room. No one needs a press piece. No one needs a PR piece at this point of the season. He talks about, oh, we're gonna, focus on the FA Cup now. We're gonna go out and, qualify for top 4. Let that talking be done on the pitch. Let that talking be done on the pitch. It's as simple as that. A lot of the piece, guys, I'll be so real. A lot of the piece was about his upbringing. A lot of it is, I feel like a lot of it is like an explanation as to what people are saying about him. Because he here talks about the media want to talk about cars. Imagine being 5, 6, 7 years old and taking 4 different buses across the town to get to training. That's not an exaggeration. Ask my mom. Someone had to take off work to go with me because nobody in my family had a car. I understand that, but what is this trying to explain? What is this trying to explain? And that's what I just don't get. Some parts of this, I just don't understand why he's sharing this with us. Is this to kind of explain why he drives all the cars that he does and he has all the cars? Like, I don't get what the point of it is. I understand the point of you talking about how you feel the media unfairly target you, and in 2020 you were just taking on the government for the betterment of kids, and you've basically got a hit out on your back now. Okay, cool. You can talk about that. But why do you have to tell us that someone in your family had to take time off work, and this basically explains why you drive the cars that you do? Bro, I could not care what cars you drive. Marcus Rashford, I don't think anybody cares about the sort of cars that you drive. I don't think anybody cares about that. I know people have questioned his commitment and all of that. He says, now this is a very interesting part for me. This was kind of a lot of detail that he went into. I feel like if you want to kind of have a better understanding of it, you need to read the piece rather than reading all the quotes kind of stuff. He said, you know what though, if I'm honest, a part of me doesn't mind it when people doubt me. When everyone is telling me they love me, I get suspicious. Bro, what? What the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? When everybody's your fan, you saying you get suspicious. When everybody is your fan, you're basically saying, I get suspicious. So he says, I think he's got trust issues. I think he's got trust issues, guys. I think he's got trust issues. He says, when everyone is telling me they love me, I get suspicious. What? Anyways, he goes on to say, I know the way the world works. I had to become a man really young. I understand that. I always had to rely on myself. Whenever I've been in the darkest of places and it feels like the world is against me, I tend to go off by myself for a couple days and reset, and then I'm fine. He then went on to say, I think it goes back to me as a kid dribbling all over the street on my own until it was dark so that I couldn't see the ball anymore and I could hear my mom shouting for me to come home. That's just me being an introvert, needing my space to reset. Other times when that hasn't worked, I found someone to talk to. Sometimes that's the way to do it. But every single time I've been down, this is the part, guys. Every single time I've been down physically or mentally, I always feel like that's when I turn it around and play my best football for United and England. And I wouldn't say that's too far-fetched. I wouldn't say that's too far-fetched of him saying that in terms of every time he's been down, he kind of turns it around, because we've seen that as examples. And he goes on to talk about, I promise you, the world has not seen the best of this United squad and these players. We have seen the best of these players. I'm 100% convinced that some of these players, we've seen the best of them. We want to be back playing in the Champions League, and then we have a massive international tournament at the end of the season. Bro, are you even getting called up? Are you even getting called up to England? That's the question you should ask right now. That's the question you should ask right now. Because if he gets an England call up, he is only getting it to make up numbers. He's not playing. He's not playing. Good for him that he doesn't have to compete with Jadon Sancho now for a spot. That's one less probably England player that he has to compete with. But he should be careful. He should be careful, because the way he's been performing this season, it does not guarantee him a spot in the England national team. He then goes on to say, we'll be back where we belong. We just have to keep working. And that starts with me. If you back me, good. If you doubt me, even better. Guys, just to further up, yeah, I feel like someone said it in the chat. Hold on, where is it? Mina reminded me of English GCSE days with these articles. Listen, I'm just looking at this because he says, if you back me, good. If you doubt me, even better. But you just said before, when everyone is telling me they love me, I get suspicious. So if we say to you that we love you, you're going to get suspicious. But if we back you, then that's good. Like, that don't make sense. But this isn't, I'm not here to analyze it. I'm not here to analyze it too much in detail. Obviously, he talks about he talks about his debut and playing at Anfield, and all of that stuff. He talks about coming up in the club and how he's still a kid at heart in terms of he had dreams wanting to play for Manchester United, and he gets to live out that dream as a reality right now. He talks about, you know, how not everybody went on to be a footballer when he was of that age, and how it's a blessing and all of that stuff. There's a lot of stuff he talks about. But inevitably, most of it is about his upbringing. I don't think this was a piece about why he's not doing well this season, why he's struggling this season. I don't think it was a piece about that. I think this is a piece that's simply about, because I'm trying to find a particular part where he says something about the media and podcasts. I might have to try to find that quote. I don't think this was a piece, guys, an explanation piece. I don't think that. I think it was a sympathy piece. I will be real. I will be so real. People, maybe I think he's putting everyone into one box, because from what I see when fans criticize Marcus Rashford, they're criticizing him for the football that he's playing. We couldn't give a damn. I just sat here and said, I like the jacket you're wearing in the interview. That's an LV jacket. That's way out of my pay grade. That is way out of my pay grade. I'm not sitting here saying, oh, he wants to talk about, because people could say that, oh, you know, he wants to talk about being humble and coming from, you know, tough starts, but you're sitting there with jewelry on and a LV jacket. I don't care. You got your money. Yeah, it's earned. But what I don't like, and I'm sure what a lot of fans have an issue with, is the way that he plays. That's it. The issue this season is the way that you've been playing. That's it. Him saying it's like somebody's questioning my entire identity. When people question his commitment to the club, He's saying it's like people are questioning my entire identity. He's trying to say that obviously when he was younger, he had he obviously came through United's academy. But on top of that, he had opportunities to go elsewhere. The older he got, ages of 10, 11, 12, he started getting offers elsewhere, and he stayed to basically succeed at Manchester United, and it was his dream. But people are not questioning your identity. No one's questioning Marcus Rashford, the person. No one is questioning Marcus Rashford as a person, as an individual. People are criticizing or questioning Marcus Rashford as a footballer from a footballing ability perspective. And I think that's maybe where the messages got lost, because I look at this piece and I think this is nice to know. And I share some sentiment with what he says, especially when he talks about his upbringing. I share some of that sentiment. And I always say, like, guys, from a bias, as a biased opinion, I like it when I see people that have come from rough beginnings to make something of themselves, because unfortunately in life, not everybody gets to do so. You know, not anyone gets to do that. But as a football fan, I think the criticism is warranted. No football fan has sat there and said, you shouldn't be wearing an LV jacket. You shouldn't be wearing an LV jacket in an interview. You should. Nobody said that. No one has said that. No one should have said, oh, you wearing jewelry, because I think he's boxed fans into the same kind of category as media. What the media say and what the fans say are two different stuff. I watched Wayne Rooney yesterday on BBC TV. BBC, I think it was on BBC One for the game. He had heaps of praise for him. He had praise for Marcus Rashford and said, you know what, he just needs to get confident. He needs to get in the groove. He needs to do this, he do that. Alan Shearer had completely different comments to say on commentary, guys. Alan Shearer was not having any of it. He was not having any of it. He said he was lazy. He said he was lazy and he was struggling and he needs to do better. Yeah, that's a footballing criticism. Nobody cares about, bro, what car you drive, or you got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cars in your driveway. No one cares about that, because at the end of the day, like it or not, guys, he earned his money. We might not agree with it, and I don't know why we pocket watch footballers so much. Like I don't know why we pocket watch footballers so much. I actually feel bad for footballers sometimes, not about the money, but the fact that they lose their whole life and identity when they become famous, and suddenly everyone only sees them as a footballer. But this entire piece for me, even the title, Who I Really Am. Who I Really Am. It's like he wants people to know who he is outside of a footballer. I don't think players want to know you on a personal level, no disrespect. And I don't mean that in a rude way, but I don't think fans want to know footballers on a personal level, to have a personal and emotional connection. The only emotional connection I think footballers and fans should have is you've won trophies together. You've won titles together. You've broken records together. You've beaten big clubs, at Old Trafford or away from home together. That's the emotional connection that fans and footballers should have. That is the emotional connection that fans and footballers should have. Yeah. I feel like this piece, he wants people to know him on a personal level. He wants people to know him on a personal level, and I don't see the need for that. I think it explains maybe a bit more about him in terms of, why he did what he did in 2020 when he decided to take on, the government, and he ended up getting an MBE for it. But if you really didn't rate the government, yeah, and this is just me being devil's advocate, but if you really didn't rate the government like that, you would have turned down the MBE. What the hell does an MBE even stand for in the first place? What does that even stand? What does that even represent in the first place? I'm trying to make sure I haven't missed any more quotes, because I've read through most of it. The problem is the media and a lot of fans, big up to Clyde, says the problem is the media and a lot of fans believe they're privy to the footballers' personal lives and make comments about their personal lives to criticize their performance. 100%. I've seen people saying, when he's in a relationship compared to when he's single, like there's differences in the ways that they perform. Social media has made footballers so accessible. Back in the day, guys, 20 years ago, yeah, unless you bump into a footballer in the street, or maybe if the paparazzi catches them doing some weird shit, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. But social media now has a hold of everyone. Footballers have become so accessible. Everybody is looking for that content. taking a picture of a player in a club or taking a picture of a player doing balloons and all of this nonsense. And I totally agree. If we could keep footballers separate to their lives and just look at them as footballers, criticize them as footballers, we shouldn't be mixing the two. And I get kind of, and that's why I said maybe people might not agree with me. That's why I kind of understand why Rashford did this piece. Because this piece is titled Who I Really Am. I think he wants people to see him as a person before he sees them and before people see him as a footballer. I literally think that's it. I'm just looking back to see all the, I think I touched on pretty much all the real stuff. He also said, people actually think I'm weird when I start talking about what Manchester United means to me, because if you're not me, then I'm sure it almost sounds fake. But you have to understand, when I was young, playing for United was everything. Listen, I get that part because people have criticized him in terms of his commitment to the club. People have criticized that. People have criticized that. But I don't think it would have been as bad as it was. Yeah. I don't, and this is maybe me just being very, very naive, but I don't think it would have been as bad as it was if he didn't sign this huge contract and then perform so badly this season. It's like the inconsistencies of his footballing career at Manchester United, and I guess I wouldn't say the downward effect, because I don't think he's gone downwards, but I don't even feel like he's gone upwards. I don't really think so. But I think he's just, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just, guys, am I trying to make sense of something that doesn't really need to be made sense of? Because social media, of course, like I said, will eat this up. They've eaten this up. Everyone is talking about it, of course. I'm talking about it here myself. But I think people are more criticizing him now for it being a PR piece. People are saying this is a PR. This is literally right out of the playbook of PR. You're not playing well this season. You come out, you do an interview, a 4-minute interview, written version as well as a visual version. You got your family. How can you say that? And again, maybe this is just me being wrong. Please correct me, guys, if you lot don't agree. But how can you say to keep your family out of it and then you got your family in the interview? That makes no sense to me. Maybe that makes no sense to me, because if you don't want your family in the spotlight, and I'm not saying that is valid for his family to be criticized and whatnot when he's not performing, but you've just sat there in an interview with the Players Tribune and your family's there. Your family is there. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. If it was, I will be real. If I wanted to, if I was like his marketing manager, or if I was in charge of his PR relations and he said to me he wanted to do this interview, I would look at him and be like, all right, cool. Well, let's invite Players Tribune to the football pitch that you grew up with as a kid playing at. Yeah, come. We'll put a chair there. We'll put lights there. We do your interview there. You're sat in a room, yeah, wearing, again, a jacket that I really want to get, guys. I really like his jacket. But you're wearing a nice jacket. You got your family there, and you're talking to us about, oh, why do people talk about the cars that I drive and the money that I make and all of this stuff? Like, I don't understand. People are not talking about that. When people criticize Marcus Rashford this season, they are saying what you are not doing on the pitch. Nobody gives a crap about the jewelry that you wear. He wears a lot of jewelry, by the way, but he's got the money to. He's got the money to do that. He's got the money to do that. Nobody cares about the jewelry you're wearing, the watches that you have, the chains that you got, the earrings, the rings, all of that stuff. No one cares about that. I saw a video the other day. It was from a couple weeks back, of course, but he went to D Block Europe's concert in Manchester. I don't care about that. I don't care about that. You have a life outside of football because you're a person before you're a footballer. Yeah. But when you come on the pitch, you perform. And if you're not giving 100%, people are going to criticize that and people are going to call you out for that. Abuse is never warranted. I never stand for abusing a player. Not at all. But people will just simply state the facts on show. So to come out, it's kind of tone deaf. I actually think it's kind of tone deaf to do this, because you know what he says? I don't know. This is the opening line, by the way. This is the opening sentence. He says, I don't normally like to respond to things said about me. It's not in my nature, and I'm an introvert. I don't even like talking about myself unless I really know you. So 99% of the time, I can ignore the noise. But sometimes certain lines get crossed and I can't help but want people to just understand who I am as a person. And this is what I said from the beginning, guys. This piece was not to explain why he's been bad this season. This piece, why does my camera keep doing that? This piece was not to explain why he's been doing bad this season. This piece was not, to explain why he struggled this season. This piece has not been like, oh, you know what, I ain't been doing well, guys, but redemption time, I'm going to get back to it. It's not that. He wants people to know who he is as a person rather than as a footballer. But who you are as a footballer, as a person, doesn't explain how you perform on a pitch. Because like I said, once you're on the pitch, we don't care about anything. I don't care about your upbringing. I don't care about the cars you drive. I don't care about how big your house is. I don't care where you live. I don't care about any of that stuff. 90 minutes, all I care is about what you do for 90 minutes. That's it. When that 90 minutes ends, I don't care what you do. Go jump in the crowd and fly kick a flipping fan like Cantona did. I don't care. I don't care if you do that. Because as long as you perform in those 90 minutes and get the team the 3 points and you're part of a win, why do I care what you do? And this is why I always say, I don't care what players do in their free time. I don't care about that. I don't care about, I've seen players, guys, going clubbing, yeah? Players that would catch a flight and leave and come back for training. Nobody cares. I watched the Beckham documentary. I don't know if you lot watched the Beckham documentary, but I watched the Beckham documentary and he was talking about how he would stay up on the phone until 6, 7 in the morning when there was a game. I think it was Liverpool at Anfield. Yeah. He turned up to the game with basically no sleep. Yeah. No sleep. I don't think fans care about that stuff because for 90 minutes, if you're doing what you're doing is standing on business, as people like to say. I don't think people care. But this piece was genuinely, he wants people to know where he's come from and the upbringing that he's had. We know the upbringing you have. We know where you came from because you remind us all the time. And I like what he stands for as a person. I will never sit here. Yeah. You are confusing me. Are you sympathizing or are you criticizing? I'm doing both. I'm actually doing both. I'm seeing both ends of this piece. But as a football fan, guys, this is what I'm going to make it clear. I'm going to make it so clear. As a football fan, I think this piece is tone deaf. As a United fan, I think it's tone deaf because nobody's talking about you as a person. We don't care about you as a person. No, that sounds so wrong. Let me not say it like that. We do care about you as a person. We hope you're okay. But also, we care about the football that you're playing on the pitch. So when you're criticized, when I criticize Rashford for what he's doing, I'm criticizing him for what he's doing on the pitch. I'm not criticizing him for the watch that he's wearing and the chain that he has and the car he drives. I don't care about that stuff. But I feel like this piece has been put out by him or by Players Tribune or his PR team or whoever to pull at heartstrings. And it might hit the right people. But as a football fan, guys, and maybe please let me know if you lot disagree. But like I said, when he talks about his upbringing, it resonates with me. It totally resonates with me. And I know for a fact it resonates with other people as well. But you're being criticized for football, bro. You are being criticized for football. That's it. That's all. Do you think he needs to be sold? Because MA just came into the chat and said, sell Rashford immediately. Do you guys think he needs to be sold? Do you think he will be sold? Because, I feel like for what he stands for, a part of me thinks what he stands for as a Manc, born and bred, product of academy, I don't think they'll sell him. I don't think they'll sell him. I really don't. I think it'll be difficult to offload his wages. I think that it'll be difficult to offload his wages. I think he's very sellable in terms of as a player, but I think the biggest part would be his wages. For me, is the biggest part. I think there'll be a queue of people wanting to buy him. Like, call me delusional, but I think some of the big clubs would definitely want him. They would look at him like I can fix him. They would look at him as I can fix him. When you look at a project, you look at someone like that's a project, and you're like, you know what, I can fix that person. I think that's what a lot of other clubs might do, especially big clubs. Like, I seen Pep apparently praising him today, saying apparently he's one of the few people at United right now that could fit into his team. I don't know if he's trying to play mind games or whatever. Pep likes mind games before Derby. Like, Pep loves to do that. But I don't think he'll get sold. I don't think that he'll get sold. PSG can handle the wages. I genuinely think PSG was a what's it called? A destination for him. PSG denied it recently. I don't know if you lot saw, but when they were talking about recently, there was an article about obviously Kylian Mbappe is probably leaving, and they were asked, what's his name, Nasser Al Khalifi of PSG was asked about whether the Rashford links were real last summer, and he said no. He was like, people were just trying to plant those stories in the media, but it was never. It was kind of like never a thing, and I think there's truth to it. I'm not gonna lie. I think that he was probably linked to Barca to PSG. I don't know if it was legit in terms of what they were willing to pay, but I do think that his agent really did have, his brother did have talks with PSG and other clubs. I think he was probably again expanding his options, looking at the available options to him. And footballers do that. But will United sell him? I don't know. I don't think so. I genuinely do not think he will be sold. I genuinely do not think he will be sold. Let me know if you lot agree. Let me see what the chat's saying. Transfer list him today. That's a bit wild. No. Keegan saying sell him. City could afford him. City can afford everyone, man. Because they're going to get banned soon. Yeah, he should leave because he is too good for us. Wow, that's a bold statement. That's a bold statement. Please, Rashi, go your place in Real or Barca. I mean, Real's getting Mbappe, so I doubt it. Chelsea, someone's saying Chelsea or Grealish swap. I don't see that happening. Unfortunately. I feel like if he leaves, if Rashford was to leave, he's only going out of England. I don't see him going to another club in England. I just don't see it happening. I just don't see it. He just did this big PR piece talking about, oh, I love Manchester United so much and I love Manchester and I will die for the club, basically. There is no way he would ever leave and go to another English club. There is then in that case, that really goes against what he stands to be. That really goes against what he stands to be. Manc, born and bred, and this whole storyline of being Manchester through and through and how much he loves the badge. I think, should players be allowed, guys? Do you guys agree? Yeah? What's your thoughts, actually? What's your thoughts on this? Do you guys think players should be allowed to do these sort of interviews outside of, like playing time? Like during the season. Do you think they should only be doing interviews like this outside of the season? Because I don't know where he found the time to do this, guys. I do not know where he found the time to do this. I'm not joking, but where did he find the time to do this? Like, honestly. But guys, let me drop a video link in the chat. I just did a new video on Paul Pogba. Switched it up. Guys, I'm really trying to get into my editing bag. I'm really trying to get into, producing better quality videos for you guys. So be sure to check out that video that I've just dropped a link in the chat. I've dropped this link here on Pogba. Obviously, we're going to quickly talk about that. We're going to quickly talk about the Pogba ban. But I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I'm not going to spend too much time because I did a whole flipping video on it. And let me know go over for the algorithm. Please hit the like button. The likes push the video. So the more people that like it, kind of, the more likely it'll end up on other people's feeds. And let me know in the comments if you agree about the fact that Pogba is one of the biggest what ifs of football. Because obviously it was announced today, 4-year ban for Paul Pogba. Whether he did it or not, I don't know. It's actually one of the rare few things that I actually don't have an opinion on, because this is like this is a legal investigation in it. I can't say he's done it, and I can't say he has done it, and I can't say he hasn't done it. But he said that he will be challenging it, and he will obviously take it to court to kind of fight it. But all I could think of, and you know what, I was actually doing a video about him, and then the news came out today, so I kind of sped up the editing of it. I spent the entire day, by the way, guys, editing it. I sped up. And all I could think was, bro, Pogba is the biggest what if. Like, what if? You know what I think, guys? I think he should never come back to United. Because honestly, the downfall of his career really was at United. I really think it was at United. Pogba, if you lot know, one of my favorite. Do you know how many text messages I got, guys? My cousin texted me today. 3 of my cousins text me, and my other cousin started texting me in our group chat, basically saying, "Someone check on Mina, her goat got bagged." All of that stuff. 31 years old. You're 30, turning 31, and your career is done. Your career is done. 4 years from now, you're gonna be 35, turning 36. Saudi might be interested, but I doubt it. They could be interested, but I doubt it. And all I could think was, Pogba really failed at United. And you know how much, it takes for me to admit that, guys. That is big for me to admit that Pogba failed big time at United. And his downfall started, You're a KG flip-flop, Mina. Nah, honestly, I'm just admitting it. His downfall for me started the season after they won the World Cup. So when they came back from the World Cup, he had one of his best seasons for Manchester United. If you don't remember, 2 out of his 6 seasons, one of them was when he came back from the World Cup, and one was his debut season. All the rest was crap. One season he missed 50-something games. He missed more than half of the season when it came to injuries. 89 million spent. I remember watching a game. I watched a lot of games at Old Trafford, obviously, during his time and even after that. But I just felt, wow, fans look disconnected from him. Fans look disconnected from him. Every United shirt I had, guys, was a Pogba one. Every year I would get a United shirt, obviously. I'd get one with my name, and I'd always get one that said Pogba on it. And when he left, I felt like I took a bullet to the heart. But his career is finished. And I'm not here to say he's guilty. He's not guilty. But just based on the facts that are presented to us, it's very, very, it's bad. It is bad. I'm not going to lie. Doping allegations. Not just that. He's got a heap of problems, guys, off the pitch. He's got so many problems. He's being held for ransom by his own fat brother. He's being accused of going to a witch doctor. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. May Allah keep us away from all of that stuff. Bro, that stuff, if you are a person of faith and you follow Islam, you know magic is no joke. You know magic is no joke. So that's why I don't even want to talk about that, because I don't want to accuse someone that might not have done it, and I don't want to accuse someone who may have done it. I don't even want to talk about magic, full stop. But he's being accused of that. And you know what I think, like I said, I'm not here to say he's guilty, not guilty. But guys, let's talk about half of the players who were part of that 2018 World Cup winning team. Where the hell are they? Where the hell? Pogba, career finished. Matuidi, done. Kante, done. Umtiti, done. Hugo Lloris, that guy was literally butterfingers for Spurs after that. Everybody not everyone, and is very strong words, but a lot of them who were part of that World Cup winning team, dusted. And I'm thinking, bro, did they actually sell their soul for a World Cup? Stop it. I don't want to allude to that kind of stuff, selling your soul. I don't believe in that shit. But I'm talking about just in the instance that it seems like everyone that was part of that World Cup winning team, was just, their careers just went on a downward thing. His was the worst. I think Pogba's the worst out of all of those players, because it's right. Ridwan says Kante had a way better career. Let's not do that. Kante went on to win stuff when he came back. Pogba didn't lift up one trophy with United after the World Cup. Firstly, all the trophies that Pogba picked up was in his first year at United. Europa League, Carabao Cup. That's it. But even when you come back from the high of the World Cup, he had one of his better seasons with United that year, 18-19 season, when he was playing, I think it was like left side of the midfield. Nothing. And then the following season, he missed 50-something games. Injury. Again, injury. You know what the biggest dream seller was? Oh my days. You know what the worst was, guys? You know what the worst was? The worst for me, the worst for me, yeah, is when Ronaldo came back to United. Do you remember there was a game? I think it was against Leeds. 4 assists. Wallahi, guys, I thought this season Pogba. I said, yeah, Pogba's gonna break the assist record, and then he's gonna re-sign with United. Boy, was I wrong. Boy, was I wrong. That season was a shit show. That season was a joke. That season was a joke. I don't think I watched. I think that was his best game I watched all season, and that was at the beginning of the year. That was the beginning of the year. I was so gassed. I was like Pogba, Ronaldo, Sancho, Bruno, Varane. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my days. That season was hilarious. That season was I remember talking, guys, I could probably find you like footage, 4K footage of me talking shit on a podcast, yeah, saying Pogba is breaking the assist record at the beginning of the season. When he got them 4 assists against Leeds, I was talking shit to every Arsenal fan. I was like, Pogba's coming for the record. He's coming for the record. Yeah, he's gonna have 2 assists every game from now on. Wallahi, life humbled me that season. Life humbled me that season. Do you know how I know life humbled me? Life humbled me because I went to Old Trafford and I watched with my own eyes. Yeah, with my own eyes, guys. I watched Pogba get booed. I watched with my own eyes Paul Pogba get booed at Old Trafford. Life is a humbler. Is that what they say? Is that what the streets say? Life is a humbler. Honestly, oh my god, Pogba was like Zizou against Leeds. Honestly, that game, it sold us dreams. I was so mad. My cousin went to the game and he didn't get me a ticket. I was so angry at him. Wallahi, I was so angry. I didn't talk to him for like a week and a half. He was cooking. We were fooled. Honestly, we thought we were the best. I thought this is the year United are contending. I said, what? Ronaldo, Sancho, Pogba. I said, what the hell? Get me on the pitch too. Then we got a superstar team. Wallahi, like, honestly, hindsight is a good thing sometimes. Sometimes it's good to look back at what we thought a couple years ago and the reality that ended up happening in title charge in September. Oh man, the problem is Man United fans get giddy over one game. Come on, man, this Tualumba, man. Don't be the celebration police, man. Don't be the celebration police. We knew we had problems bigger, but we all thought, nah, that one signing gonna cover everything. He uncovered it even more. Honestly, that was so jokes. That was hilarious, honestly. But listen, I'll be here and I'll keep an eye out on what happens with Pogba and this suspension. But like I said, guys, I just dropped a video today. Spent the entire day, guys. I spent like 6 hours or so editing it. So I would appreciate if you check it out and let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you're enjoying them sort of videos where it's not like a docu-series, but it's kind of like a docu-series. I got a few more that I'm currently planning, that I'm currently writing up and planning to shoot and edit and all of that stuff. So if you are enjoying that, do let me know and I'll kind of increase those kind of videos, because sometimes it's fun to talk about things that are not football actual analysis. Sometimes it's like fun to talk about stories and all of that stuff, the emotions around the football game. But yeah, man, be sure to hit the like button, guys. Be sure to subscribe. I will be back tomorrow. Be sure, firstly, as well, to hit the like button. Don't be disgraceful, guys. Don't be disgraceful. I'm like, how much am I away? Let me see. I'm like, I think like 15 off. Oh, I'm 13 now. I'm 13 away from 3K. I'm 13 away from 3K, which to me, 5K was the goal in a year. So I could be able to do that. So be sure to hit the like button. Tomorrow I'll be live. Adam says tomorrow's stream going to be chaos. I was just about to mention it. Tomorrow I will be live. Me, of course, joined by Hamza, Man City fan, and joined by Marcel. I'm going to try keep it to a 1 hour stream, but there's no guarantee that it's going to be a 1 hour stream. So be sure to turn on your post notifications. So when we go live, 8 o'clock UK time, when we go live, you guys will get notified. Be sure to turn on your post notifications, because I promise you guys, you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss that stream. And obviously, I didn't talk about the City game today. Because we're going to talk about it tomorrow. I hope that makes sense. I'll be back as well on the weekend, post-match after the City game. Might do a stream on Saturday if I've got the time as well. You guys know what it is, man. This is actually I actually enjoyed this stream today. I actually enjoyed it. Big up to everyone that was here from the jump. If you came through halfway through the stream, big up to you as well. Be sure to hit the like button. You can join the membership club. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom content as well, and you get to support the growth of the channel. Guys, Ridwan just said the chat rattles Hamza. I'm not involved. Guys, you have to rattle him tomorrow. Hamza is one of them people. He's got one eye on the chat the entire time. You have to rattle him. You have to wind him up. You have to. If there's one request that I have to the chat for tomorrow, it's that. Just wind him up. And you guys all have to be Team Marcel. It don't matter what comes out of Marcel's mouth. You lot have to be Team Marcel. It's as simple as that. Like I said, guys, be sure to hit the like button. Mina, do live streams when United play. I'm gonna try to, but to be honest, like sometimes I'm at the studio, sometimes I'm not, so it's kind of difficult in it. But I might start doing streams again for like the bigger games, for rivals, that kind of stuff. You lot know what it is. Like I said, join the membership club. Be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. And we will be back tomorrow, man. You don't want to miss it. You guys know what it is. It's your girl, Mina. Peace.